Any Bronco fans here?
Yeah.
Come on. Okay, how about this? Any New England fans here? So my name is Vance. I played football with the Denver Broncos for 10 years. I played with, some of you probably heard of him, John Elway. I played with him for 10 years and went to 3 Super Bowls. And it's what I wanted to do my whole life, is be in the NFL and go to the Super Bowl. And be great and make my mother and father proud. I'm originally from New Jersey, and I ended up in New Jersey from Arizona. My mother grew up in Arizona. My father, he was stationed in service after getting in trouble with the law because he was involved in gangs. He was involved in drugs and violence. Ended up going into the service and went out to Arizona where he met this little 15-year-old girl. I'll show you any of that, guys. My father was 21, my mom was 15, and he met her. She actually picked cotton in a gin yard. They picked cotton. She made 16 cents a day. When my father met her, he ended up marrying her and took her back to New Jersey where I was born. And when they got there, my father started to go back to his old ways where he was pushing drugs, drinking a lot of alcohol, doing a lot of partying, and he started to abuse my mother. My mother ended up leaving him with her young son, me, at a little over 16 and a half years old she was. And we went back out to Arizona. My father didn't want to lose my mother, so he ended up following her back out there. Got back with her, and my sister, Tammy, ended up being born. But my father, for some reason, never stopped drinking alcohol, never stopped smoking weed, never stopped putting his hands on my mother. Now, seeing this as a child was really traumatizing. But I didn't know it because it was my normal. This was normal for me to see my father drunk, see him come home, see him pissed off, see him doing the things he was doing in the streets, partying and everything, and doing drugs, and then coming home and beating my mom. Watching my mother when we were in the car driving down the street, and my mom, this nice church-going person who loves God, but for some reason when my father drank, he decided when he wasn't doing good, it's his enemy always attacking. He would put his hands on my mother, and I see the bruise on her face. I watch her face get up against a window, and I see the blood coming out of her mouth. This was my normal. So to get away from that, I decided to just get involved in sports. Just be away from home because I want to be around my father. I wasn't going to be like him when I grew up. So I ran track, I played football, I did everything I could just to get away from the chaos that I saw at home. I didn't even like sex because I saw my father do so many horrible things as a child. After going through junior high school and high school and being really good at sports, having great teachers in my life, going to church with my mother, always praying, but not understanding and seeing God's ways in my life because I didn't want to be like what I was growing up around. I didn't want to be like this. This prayer that we said at nighttime, the prayer that we said when we ate dinner, there was nothing that I saw any fruit coming from. All I saw was this woman who cried, who prayed, who went to church, and just wanted everything to be okay in her children's lives. And somehow, standing by this man's side, who I wanted her to lead him, think that in time, God's ways will show what this is all about. By the time I was drafted by the Denver Broncos, growing up in this world that I didn't want to be a part of, I just wanted to be great and famous and not be what I saw as a child. I had never had a drink, never did any drugs, never did anything. When I was drafted by the Broncos, my first game of my career was against the San Francisco 49ers. I was really scared. My first play, I had to stand on the any football players here, raise your hand. Got some ball players, all right. So you guys know this. I had to stand on the 10-yard line to catch a punt. If the ball goes over my head, let it go over the end zone, right? If it comes in front of you, you're going to catch it. Well, in Candlestick Stadium at the time, it was very windy. And the ball, when I saw it coming down, started to move around. So I ran up, and I was going to do a fair catch, but then all of a sudden the ball starts going backwards, so I go back again. And I get to the line where the 10-yard line is, and I reach back to grab the ball. It hits my hand, rolls into the end zone. San Francisco scores, touchdown. Denver Broncos lose. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get cut. My team is like, what? Your first play in your career? It's over, dude. So we go back to Colorado, and we have to go to practice the next day, go over the film where all these great ball players want to watch Vance Johnson get cut the first game of his career. I couldn't handle the pressure, so I said, guys, I don't know how to deal with this. They said, we know how to fix this. Let's go by the liquor store and get some tequila. I was like, anything to take this anxiety away. So I drink that tequila. And oh my Lord, I never felt so good in my life. Going into there, I couldn't care less whether they cut me or not because something made me feel so good about this that it just didn't matter. As time went on, I still sampled in alcohol, but I eventually started seeing this girl, and she got pregnant. She calls me from Houston, Texas, and says, I'm pregnant. If you don't marry me, I'm going to have an abortion. So I decide, I can't handle this pressure. So I go get a whole bottle of tequila. I started taking prescription pills, anything else that the NFL had in the locker room there that I could take so I could deal with the anxiety and the pressure of having to go marry someone that I didn't even know the kid was mine, but we don't believe in abortion, so I go out and marry her. Long story short, by the end of my career, 10 years, 3 Super Bowls, I had been married 4 times with 7 children. I moved over to the western side of Colorado. I want to get into the mortgage business. I want to start going to church again. I want to believe in God because I don't believe like my father. I've gone through some domestic crap where I was even at one time a violent person. I ended up getting in trouble. If you want to go on to Google and pull up Oprah Winfrey, you'll see me on her show. I did a show with Oprah Winfrey talking about domestic violence. But I still had these underlying issues with dealing with drugs and alcohol. My oldest son, 19 years old, he decides he's going to come be around Dad because I want to be in my children's life. I'm going to church, but am I really a Christian? I want the pastor to see me there. I want the congregation to see Vance Johnson, former Denver Broncos church. My son moves over, he's going to college. I'm still hanging out, chasing ladies, married at this time by the 7th time. Doing drugs, doing alcohol. My 19-year-old son had crashed he blew his motor out of the motorcycle. He blew his engine out of his car. And so he took his motorcycle. I'm sure he tried to contact me, but he probably couldn't reach me because I was doing my thing. He took his motorcycle across the mountains to go see his mother, who was mourning over the loss of her father who had just died of cancer. He goes to give his girlfriend a kiss goodnight. He heads back to have dinner. And this lady runs a stop sign and kills my son on his motorcycle. When I get a phone call from my ex-wife, I'm behind my bar at my restaurant and I'm drinking some tequila. I decided to drink 2 bottles of tequila because I didn't care anymore. Because the love of my life, my son Vaughn, Edward Johnson, was dead. It was my fault. And I drank myself and I used myself with drugs and alcohol into a coma. If you can show that picture, I want to show you guys me. My sister came from New Jersey to take a deathbed picture of me to say her goodbyes. They asked the pastor to come and pray over me. But this is where the truth comes in. When I wake up, I'm chained to this bed. And I see these shadows walking inside of my room. And I realize this is not a reality necessarily that I'm in right now. Because what I see coming in my room is here to probably go back and report that we got another one, boss. I knew that there was an eternity after that. And I prayed and I said, God, please let me live from this. Because if I live, I'll do everything I can to get your message out there. And after I got out of that bed, I went home and I still started to use drugs and alcohol again because I was continually deceived by the enemy. I would look back at the carnage of my life, the marriages and the children, and the death of my son. And why am I alive? What for? And Randy Grimes started calling me. And I lied to him for months and months and months. And finally, when I couldn't take it anymore, and the bottom dropped out, Randy called me and I said, I'm ready to come in there. Because I need to get the help, because I don't want to live like this anymore. There's something else for me out there. And I go to this facility because God had taken me this whole road of my life to put me in a position where now I would have a voice because I'm completely broken. I went from millions down to nothing. And I was in there with anointed hands. And sometimes they just can't pray addiction out of you in the church. You have to go somewhere where you can hear the Lord himself. You have to get in the scriptures and be able to understand about being sober-minded, what it's about. and how the enemy wants to deceive you and take your life, take your loved ones' lives, and your parents' lives, and your lives. My higher power, my Lord, my Savior, Jesus Christ, had a message for me. And his message for my son and I was for me to be here to talk to you today. Because you're in this school for a reason. And you're the ones that are chosen. And you don't have to be deceived from this enemy who's trying to destroy you. Satan is real. He wants to break marriages up. I'm married for the 8th time. And I will never cheat on my wife. I will never do drugs again. I will be transparent. I will be honest. And I will tell the youth about this addiction and about how the enemy wants to destroy you by doing it. And these are the last days. Churches are even lying. Pastors are even lying. There's a reality right now. It's time to really get in the scriptures and get along with the word and understand what God is trying to tell you and not be deceived so you can pass the message. Because this life is short, and you will pass on one day. And it's your job to go out and make disciples. I didn't come here to scare you guys. But I came here to give you a message. The message you get because you are believers, I hope, and if not, prayerfully you will be soon. But this is just a part of where we're going. We're just visiting here. God has a plan for us. And being sober-minded, a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility on you. If you have a loved one, a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, uncle, a aunt, a cousin, a friend that's struggling or using, confront them. Because you are the youth, and it talks about you guys in the scriptures. And you have the power. This is your world. And I'm just here giving you a message passing through. And I want to close with this. And this is about the church. 2 Timothy is what I've been reading because I want to be a pastor one day. Because I know God has a message for me. 2 Timothy 3. He's talking to Christians, not this fleshly carnal world. In the last days, difficult times will come. For men will be lovers of self, lovers of money, boastful, arrogant, revilers, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, unloving, malicious gossips, without self-control, brutal, haters of good, teachers reckless, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, holding every form of godliness, although they will be really denying the power of God. I'm not here to preach. I just want to pass on the message. Look at yourself and wonder, know who you are in Christ. You don't have to face this addiction like me and my brothers do. You can get the message now. It will help others and show others out that the trap is out there. The enemy is real. If you guys want to reach us, you can reach out to our Facebook page. If you have a phone, I know all you guys have a Facebook page, right? Take those selfies. Find me on Vance, Johnson Athlete. I'm always on page talking. If you need help, reach out to Randy Grimes, Paul, myself, and we'll do anything we can to help you out. I'm always talking online, I have some great videos, audios. I have a son right now who's in jail because of this addiction crap. And I'm not sending him any money. I'm attaching him to the bug, and when his bug falls out, I'll pick him up just like, I forgot who was the Bible, the prodigal son. When he turns around, I'm coming to run to him, but he has to come back this way. And I'll be there for him. I'm Vance. Thanks, guys. God bless you.